New Zealand's borders are constantly under threat from drugs, illegal goods and incoming passengers bringing plants, pests and animal diseases that could cripple our economy overnight. Only the men and women of the Customs Service and MPI Biosecurity stand in their way. They are New Zealand's Border Patrol. Tonight on Border Patrol...
What do you got there?
He says he's here for the World Cup.
If it's a story, it's very well rehearsed.
But Customs dig deep to find the truth.
That perhaps on your body there's evidence of or actual goods that Customs are interested in.
A backpacker's worst nightmare.
Something's come up, but I'm not too sure what it is.
And what stowaway has this man brought with him?
He's not going to get a nice welcome.
In Auckland, the airport is busy and Customs are on high alert. They keep an eye on arriving passengers via their bank of cameras, which cover incoming passengers right from the moment they step off the plane. Customs also profile each plane load of passengers that arrive into the country. These men fit the criteria for suspicious travellers and have found themselves diverted straight into the Customs search area.
Currently we have two South African gentlemen who claim to not know each other. They have stated that they're here for the Rugby World Cup. However, one of them is in possession of tickets and the other is not.
The men are searched separately, but already one of them is getting uncomfortable.
I'm just going to go up and talk fully to my superior officer. Yeah, just not at the moment. I'll be... I know, I'm sorry, sir. It won't be long.
Customs Officer Matt is focusing on the first man, who's born in Ghana but has South African citizenship.
You have a wallet? Wallet, yeah. OK, thank you, sir. What do you got there? What's that?
Is it ID?
That's your ID?
If the men are here under false pretences, they could also be potential smugglers. So with the detector dogs on the scene, is it game over for these guys?
What?
And now this man, arriving from Guangzhou in southern China, has some surprises tucked away.
You're coming to New Zealand for 2 years.
Yes.
We will look at all of that. The other side, please.
Yes, these are seats.
Okay, very good. Just leave it here. No, just stop. Just leave it here.
The 47-year-old teacher seems a little anxious.
Okay, what have you got in here? Right, you got quite a few
seats. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I know this New Zealand is a good place to
grow vegetables.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
So I take some
Okay.
Chinese seeds.
Well, I'm not sure. I am not sure if you can bring these into the country. So I'll get somebody else to check that for you. All right?
Seeds are risky, not only because of the introduction of species to compete with our own, but because of the diseases and insects that could be lurking inside.
I don't know what New Zealand policy. They told me that it's a good place to grow some vegetables, so I brought some Chinese seeds. I think it's possible. Because well, if I go to some other countries, it's okay.
The man has declared some food items, but is everything identifiable?
This type of mushroom is all right.
Okay.
It's allowed into New Zealand. This is just ground hot chili pepper. Okay. There's nothing else but pepper.
Yes, pepper.
Hot chili pepper.
Yes.
That's no problem.
Okay,
You can bring that into the country. These are from the cranberry family.
There's some spice.
Okay,
Chinese
very good.
spices. All right.
There's enough here to kit out a Chinese restaurant.
But all spices. Do a Chinese spice.
Cooking spices.
Cooking spices, yes.
And while he hasn't quite brought the kitchen sink, it's not far off.
Cooking utensils made of wood.
Sure.
The man is very well prepared, but it's not the processed goods that are the problem.
How about garlic? Is that okay?
Garlic, okay. Garlic is not allowed into museum. Fresh garlic is an issue because you can host a whole raft of nematodes and anything that could crawl into the soil.
And it's not the only potential hazard lurking in this travelling Chinese canteen.
That looks like bark.
Yes, it's bark.
And that could be a threat. That could be a problem. Okay.
At Queenstown Airport, travellers from Thailand are arriving. And customs are being vigilant against the risk of drugs arriving with them. A random check targets a backpacker.
And how'd you travel around? How'd you go?
With bus.
Bus,
Train.
just on your own?
Yeah, or I was travelling alone, but then I met two German girls, and then
Yep.
I thought German girls, I've been travelling with them for about 3 weeks.
So has Ellen fallen in with the wrong crowd while backpacking?
You've never had any drugs at all? Never? Okay. Well, this is your iPod, is it?
iPod.
Do you use this very much?
Yeah. It's my baby.
Well, just do a couple of iron scans here just to see if things are okay. There's nothing showing here at all, but I'm just going to do a few more just to make absolutely certain.
But just as Ellen was looking to be in the clear, things start to go bad.
Something's come up, but I'm not too sure what it is.
At Queenstown Airport, Ellen's bag has tested positive for an amphetamine MDEA.
It's a bit concerning. It's on the handles of the backpack. That means that if it had been on something that, like she's going out or anything like that, that could be because she was in a nightclub or something like that.
It's a nightmare scenario for any backpacker to have the one thing they take everywhere test positive for drugs. Warwick is calling in his colleague.
4%, is that very high?
It is for that, most definitely.
well,
You've
then-
only had the one reading?
I've done 2 other readings on things she's used, like her iPod that she uses a lot, and the camera she uses a lot. And then I just thought I'd do another one, and I did it on the handles of the backpack.
Try and find something like a going out shoe or belt that she would
Yes.
potentially wear out in a nightclub.
As the search continues to see if the amphetamine is only confined to her backpack, Ellen's remaining cool under pressure. Searching inside the suspicious backpack reveals nothing, and she still has no idea that traces of an illegal substance have been found.
So in all your travels round, you've never taken drugs at all? Do you ever go out to nightclubs at all?
Yeah.
What shoes would you wear if you went to a nightclub?
These ones.
Those shoes, would you? Nothing there.
But Warwick's search isn't over yet. At the biosecurity counter in Auckland, a man has a stash of seeds in his bags, and some of them are not even packaged.
Okay, what have you got in here?
But it's the raw bark that's really raising eyebrows.
We need to have a closer look at the bark because sometimes insects can lay eggs underneath the bark and they are not very easily visible. And that could be a threat, that could be a problem. I'm concerned mostly about food and unidentified food.
So is that why the man was singled out in the first place?
He has initially declared items on his arrival card, but our risk assessor made the judgment that we would like to do a full inspection of the passenger's luggage, and that was worthwhile.
The man may yet get some of his confiscated goods returned if they prove to be uncontaminated.
Give them 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Have a good time in New Zealand.
So what is the strange bark exactly?
This smells like cinnamon.
And what are the risks?
We're just looking for insect frass or any other sign of insect damage or insect presence.
Insect frass, or dung, is initially liquid that then dries.
I've got a small amount of frass in here that indicates to me that either there is or there was some kind of insect in here. Oh, here we go. I found it. I found the insect. Here it is. Just popped out. And it's alive and kicking.
This foreign bug could be anything. So how good is Homiyon's knowledge of Chinese insects?
Some kind of cockroach. I better contain that before it escapes.
Female cockroaches can produce over 300 eggs. Having one on the loose is potentially disastrous.
Yeah, I've got him. He's here.
These critters are incredibly hardy. Some species can go without air for 45 minutes and food for a month. But this captive doesn't have a chance.
He's not going to get a nice welcome.
The fresh garlic is filed for later destruction, but there is still a ripe stack of questionable seeds to investigate.
There's no botanical names on any of these seeds. It's all in Chinese. It's also got some here like the beans that would be prohibited entry anyway without a phytosanitary certificate because of the diseases and insects they can carry. And they've got some other seeds here that aren't commercially packaged and full of contaminants as well. It looks like just little bits of straw, but that's a dead snail. And looks like there's some contaminant seeds as well. All the seeds will be required to be destroyed.
The man won't be planting his Chinese garden in New Zealand anytime soon.
I would make the assumption that the passenger already knew that some of these, or maybe all of it, were not allowed into the country, and he just wanted to try.
But pushing the boundaries didn't work for the man, and it won't work for the cockroach either.
We're pretty good at catching things at the border, one way or another.
Over at Auckland Airport, two men are claiming to be in New Zealand for the World Cup. But their stories are suspicious, and they could be carrying drugs. The drug detector dog finds nothing.
Won't be a minute, sir. I'm just going to do a couple of x-rays on your things, OK? All good?
And the x-ray is clear too, but Matt's not convinced, so he's giving the man's documents special attention.
Just a couple of tickets. He says he's here to attend World Cup matches, so we've got tickets for South Africa playing Namibia and Fiji. They appear to be legit, but the guys upstairs just want to have a quick look and make sure everything's in order.
Behind the screen, the guys from the Frontline Investigation Team, or FIRST, monitor the men's reaction and the evidence to support their stories.
It's my job just to get as much information as I can and then bring it to them and leave them to make the decision, which I'm going to do now.
The men say they met for the first time at the airport before the flight departed. But coincidentally, they're both heading to Wellington later today.
What do you do? What job? He says he owns 3 salons, hair salons, and 1 boutique.
It's another bizarre coincidence for these apparent strangers. They're both claiming to be owners of hair salons. So are they both lying, or are they telling the truth?
Just with your salons and boutiques, how many people do you employ?
5 plus 6, which is 11. And the other one I have 4 of them.
4, okay. So you said you had 3 salons and 1 boutique. Boutique is what?
Boutique I've got only 2 people.
2 people. So 2 people, then 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Thanks.
As he digs into the man's story, Matt is constantly monitoring the man's reaction.
If it's a story, it's very well rehearsed. He seems fairly genuine about it.
But the devil is in the detail when it comes to deception.
When's the Namibia game?
The man is a little vague on the dates of the games he has tickets to, but it's a second check of the wallet that reaps the biggest find so far.
Located a credit card, or what appears to be a Visa credit card. Got our suspicions that it may not be 100% legit. A genuine Visa or whatever will come up with a series of numbers and information, but generally it will have a person's name on it. So what we've found here with this one is there's no name, it's just card holder.
And there are other pointers to the card not being legit too, like the numbers that aren't raised on the card's surface. But that's not all.
Another of the issues with the card is that the numbers, if you look very closely, don't line up perfectly, which is obviously something you'd expect from a bank-issued card.
The other man also remains under suspicion for fraudulently obtaining World Cup tickets.
If you look at his behaviour, he's concerned about something, he's thinking about
He was looking around at the other guy.
Yeah.
The bank confirms the credit card Matt found hidden in the man's wallet is indeed a fake.
All right, well, you've got plenty there.
The men's stories are thin, their travel plans dodgy, and now their time is up. Both men face a strip search. A seemingly innocent Swedish woman has been found with traces of amphetamine on her backpack in Queenstown. But is she really a drug-taking backpacker?
I'm just going to get the bag X-ray.
A backpack filled to the brim could be a plan to muddle the X-ray image. But now the pack is empty. Is there anything hidden in its internal structure?
Some things in the top pocket to look all right.
Yep.
Good.
The rest of her belongings are clean of drugs. But it's her plans to travel to India for the next 6 months that has Warwick supervisor Greg curious.
So what's your occupation to be able to afford this travel?
I was about to start questioning the rules on this now. I've done 4 iron scans.
And there's only one of them came back?
No, sorry, 5 iron
and that
scans.
was on the straps of what?
Oh, the straps of the large backpack.
Which somebody else could have taken.
Well, even the male handler, for all we know for that, I suppose, couldn't it? But
The location of the amphetamine may prove to be a saving grace for Ellen. So can she explain why it's there?
when I did a search, an iron scan on this bag, we came up with 4% MDEA, which is a derivative of methamphetamine.
Okay.
Any ideas how it might have got on there?
No.
You've never had taken meth, never used meth at all?
Never.
No. Did you just save the money for your travel, or how did you get your money for your travel?
I was when I was working back in Sweden, I was still staying at home.
Go back for good.
Ellen also worked in New Zealand for a year to help finance the rest of her OE, and her story checks out.
Just seems like a nice kid that's done a lot of travelling around and pretty clean. I'm sorry that you've got to go through all this, but
Okay.
she's free to go on her travels.
Before continuing her travels, Ellen is learning that it sometimes pays to listen to Mum's advice.
Then my mum said as well, she was like, you have to make sure you check your luggage when you're in Thailand, because there's so, like, drugs and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no problem, I promise. And then when he said that, I was like, probably should listen to my mum.
At Auckland Airport, the biosecurity benches are heaving once again, this time with adventurous travellers clutching exotic mementos.
Hello, do you have food in the bag? No. Sorry.
Today, it's the issue of wildlife that's raising questions for a couple returning from Bolivia with one of the most commonly seized souvenirs.
Okay, guys, well, the story is with this one is we're going to have to fumigate it.
So we can actually bring it in?
You can bring it in, but we'll have to send it away to be fumigated to make sure there's no disease or virus that could transfer into our animals in New Zealand. So there's a small charge for that.
Radio host Jesse from Tauranga and his Bolivian wife can hang on to this croc, but will the cost bite into their budget?
How much are we looking at?
We're looking at total price $35.
Do we have $35 in our budget?
Yeah.
All right, we've got the thumbs up.
Because the Bolivian crocodile isn't protected, there's no restriction on bringing this little guy to a new home in New Zealand.
Where are you going to put him?
It's a gift for my mum. So it's not going to my house.
For your mother. Oh my God.
Souvenir trackers Jesse and Julia might be free to go, but their captive croc is taking a compulsory detour.
Any taxidermy animal like this can definitely carry disease that can transfer onto our animals. So I'll take this young lady, I'll call her a lady. She looks like a lady, doesn't she? Into our lab to be all packaged up and off to the treatment centre to render her harmless.
It's not your usual Christmas guest, but in just under a week, this prickly character will be taking centre stage at a very Kiwi celebration.
So that's Angela's Christmas present. It's nice, isn't it? I prefer Chanel.
Two men at Auckland Airport are claiming to be here for the World Cup. One man is under suspicion for fraudulently obtaining World Cup tickets, and the other has been found with a fake credit card. A personal search of both men is unavoidable.
First one is negative at this stage, and he has been taken by our investigations team to question further via video interview. And the next gentleman is about to be taken through for his strip search.
The man Matt has been investigating is resisting the need for a personal search.
There's reasonable cause to believe that perhaps on your body there's evidence of or actual goods that customs are interested in.
The fake credit card, lack of funds for his trip and vague details have given customs reasonable cause to search the man.
Okay, so you just head on over that way, sir.
There's no getting out of a personal search. Five minutes later, the search is over. But what's the outcome?
149 negative.
Despite questioning the need for a search, the man's not found carrying anything else illegal. But his fate is sealed.
The team from investigations are just going to ask him a few more questions. They are going to seize the Rugby World Cup tickets, which were purchased with stolen credit card details. The Visa card has been detained.
Both men were denied entry into New Zealand, so it's a job well done for Matt. And two less fraudsters riding into New Zealand on the coattails of the Rugby World Cup.